Wait. There we go. Okay, boys, we're finally recording. It took a minute. Yo, guys, everyone say hi to YouTube. YouTube say hi back. We are watching Jenazad's video. I wanted to watch this the other day, and then someone told me it didn't really add anything. So I was like, oh, okay. But now everyone's saying it's amazing. So I knew I should have went with my gut and watched it is what it is. Let's watch this. Let's get this going. For some reason, I don't know why, Murder. I'll look into that. I have no idea why.
2025 has finally arrived, and in
So the redemption of Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zero. Let's go.
2024, we had two very prominent children's gambling simulator games, Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zero.
Bro.
Now, in most cases, this would only be a cause for celebration because now everyone has more games to play. However, Gacha game players are a tribalistic bunch, and after you waste hundreds of hours or steal enough money off your mom's credit card, eventually you find the need.
Guys, what happens if you steal money off your mom's credit card? What's gonna happen? Don't tell me.
To justify yourself somehow. This caused one of the most toxic wars I've ever seen between fandoms over which game was better, with seemingly both at each other's throats when in reality it was just 0.1% of chronically online morons in their communities non-stop trashing each other on Twitter. If someone praised one or criticized the other, you'd be labeled accordingly a curlbot or a Hoyo shill named after the developers Curl Games and Hoyoverse. On the first of every single month, the two would battle it out on the Gacha Games subreddit using the Gacha revenue chart to prove that
actually we have to look at something on Gacha Gaming later, but yes,
their game is better than the other, or justify why they spent their college fund on a PNG. However, this war is not the point of the video. No, rather,
you know, sidebar, I will never understand why people feel the need to justify their own actions or their own spending to fucking random people on the internet. Like, who cares? None of these people know you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's gonna bother with you. Like, why do you feel the need to justify that you spent $3 grand getting S6 Miyabi or Carlotta or whatever? Like, it's just so fucking stupid. I really is like insecurity, but whatever.
The purpose is to illustrate how both of these games have recently done something incredibly impressive that is rarely ever seen in the gacha sphere, and how it could affect the future of high-budget gacha games. And as always, if you enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll be making more videos like this, or go to twitch.tv/Jenazad as I stream daily. Recently, both Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zero have released some enormous changes to their games. Patch 1.4 for Zenless fundamentally overhauled multiple core systems of the game, adding personal character ults, removing the TVs from the main story, and excited a ton of players with freebies and a long-awaited character release. Wuthering Waves released version 2.0, exceeding players' expectations in multiple ways by making a new continent with really unique biomes and a flight system making exploration exciting again.
Bro, the flight system still feels so fucking good. I will never get over it. I pray to God that in 3.0 we could still fly. Like, whatever region we go to, whatever's in store for us in the future, like, I'm trying to fly. Like, because that shit is fun as hell. People don't understand why constant free to play. I see, like, who cares? Why do we need to know? Yeah, 100% Queenie. I agree with you. Like, Enviosity claiming to be like, I'm free to play. Like, nobody cares, bro. Like, nobody fucking go touch grass.
While also writing a well-received story and hyping players with new characters. These two updates were not only the largest to happen to their respective games, but also have done the impossible, actually listening to the players for once, which never happens.
Yes,
this shows they actually can put the effort in and listen to players to make a better experience for everyone, just most gacha games don't. Many players will always settle for less in games they enjoy and often defend them to the death, but through valid criticism and possibly lowering revenues, both games were able to improve to what they are today. Whether players
high key the two biggest comebacks in gacha history, like not even to be funny, like both ZZZ and Wuwa, not to glaze, just Wuwa, but like Zenless Zero has legitimately fucking been top tier, like top fucking tier. Spent a lot of time talking to Bogey today. I heard, I didn't really listen to it. I'll probably listen to it later, but Jenazad's good people, and I like Pokey as well, so. Yo, can you get a fast shot over Amethyst? How you feeling, brother? How we doing? Yeah. No, like, these two games showed, and it specifically showed that Hoyoverse can listen. I feel like people knew Hoyoverse could listen in HSR, but then, like, ZZZ really showed that they can pivot and completely change the direction of their game and how it functions. So, yeah, I mean, Hoyoverse has to take a W for that, right? Yeah, they'll never get a skip button. It was great. Yeah, I have to see that. I have to see that, honestly.
Just want to admit it or not, if the games had never begun to falter or have to compete with other games, they may never have reached this point. Competition leads to excellence, and with so many games in the market, unless you step it up, you really won't be noticed. Well, unless you're some garbage like Fake Grand Order. However, since their launches,
how do people still play that? I don't get it.
Defense of their game against all criticism. Now, obviously, not all of it is valid. Especially after release, people who hate the game will trash it, like me, but then they move on and you'll hear less negativity. As the company, it's important to sift through the criticism and find valid and real ones for games to be better. Both Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero had previously released fairly close to one another for being such huge releases in the gacha sphere, which immediately started some conflict despite being completely different genres of games. You may as well compare Path of Exile 2 to Marvel Rivals. However, both have one thing I believe was in common. They were both released prematurely. Let me
I also don't I piggyback off Jenazad here. I don't know why people feel the need to just fucking to compare these two in particular. Like, it makes no fucking sense to me. Like, I don't get it. Like, just because they both have dodging and parrying, like, one's an open world that has a fuck ton of things to do, and the other one is a zoned game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just because they have parries and dodges doesn't mean that they're in the same vein. Like, it actually kind of blows my mind how hard stuck people are on that. Like, they're really, really, like, fucking comparing these two. You know, the game, FGO's ass, also was good engineered, the best anime game, best anime ever.
Explain by talking about them one at a time. Wuthering Waves on release had numerous issues. It had terrible optimization to the point many couldn't play. People's phones were basically nuclear reactors, Chernobyl 2, and even on PC it could crash or lag. The story and voice acting was abysmal. They recently rewritten the entire story after negative feedback, and realistically, it's pretty hard to rewrite so much in a short amount of time and have it work, and it really showed. Thank God they had a skip button. As for the voice acting...
Yes!
Whoever the VA director was clearly hadn't ever heard English before, because even Jeff Bezos sounds more human. While the game overall had a good skeleton, it required large updates to truly become what it was meant to be.
Bro, that's why, like, deadass, it really is like one of the best comebacks. Like, bro, 1.0. I also, if you want me to be very transparent, I think the failure of 1.0 absolutely led to the success of like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Like, I feel like people, the fact that the devs were so giving during the time and they were like, yo, we fucked up. Here's 5 stars. Here's like 20 free pulls. Here's 14 patches to patch things in. Like, they really went in. Like, they really fixed it. And I feel like if the game just kind of launched in a good state, I don't know if it would have such good PR that it does now, to be honest with you. Jeff Bezos being AI, 100%. You know, they compensated good, 100% loss. They absolutely compensated great. And ZZZ did as well, for sure. But, yeah, like, I just don't know if Wuwa is as big of a deal as it is now. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just wait till the yearly events ruin characters. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing FGO, but I just don't know how people actually... Like, I don't get how that game's still around, you know what I'm saying? But listen, it is what it is.
Firstly, the 1.1 update added better story, voice acting, and music with Mount Firmament. Also a lot of optimization. Then 1.3 pushed the story, music, and area design even further with the Black Shores, and a lot more optimization.
Thank you, Sean.
Now finally in 2.0, the game has improved almost every single facet from the base game with insane upgrades to exploration and area design, and now the music has elevated itself to bangers you actually enjoy instead of boring noise. Also, this update probably would have been received well by players and considered a great patch normally, but the real cherry on top, the actual best part of the entire update, is the flying system. Genuinely, not even a meme. This actually changes everything.
Gamers, MTash here, and this changes everything. I'm going back to Path of Exile 2. Let's continue. 1.0 feels like a beta. 1.0 felt 1000% like a beta. It felt like an unfinished product. And 2.0 feels like the product that they envisioned the game to be. And yeah, no, it's fucking great. It's and ZZZ deserves that praise as well. Zenless Zone Zero, I think, to be honest with you, I feel like ZZZ sometimes gets boring to play and gets boring to watch as a viewer. It's still a very fucking great game. Like, I think it is the best Hoyo game out right now. So yeah, they both get it. And yeah, Kuro absolutely worked overtime. The amount of patches they put in 1.0 is more than a lot of AAA titles, you know? It did. 2.0 made that clear. Yeah, 2.0 felt like playing the game all over again. The flying, like one day we just need to do a flying stream. Like maybe we'll do that Friday. Like just legitimately fly around and just fucking just chatting, you know, because it's so smooth and it controls very well. Also, it was a little buggy at first, and they fixed it pretty well. Like the whole FPS thing, they fixed it very fast. So yeah.
And once you try them, you literally cannot go back to 1.0. That trash-ass no-fly zone feels worse than a Dark Souls swamp. Running is for complete losers, and I'm never going back.
Matt. They still need to rework Acts 1 to, oh, I agree. And Matt, I started a new account, and really up till Act 5 is pretty shitty. I think they need to rework Acts 1 through 4. 5 and 6, I think you could leave alone, but 1 through 4 needs to be condensed down into like an hour long. Just fucking speed run the XP experience, like get them to Union level 20 or whatever it is to get a Renacita. Because yeah, that shit is still bad. It really is.
Next, Zenless Zone Zero. While the game overall was much more polished than Wuthering Waves on launch, it still had some huge underlying issues.
One thing that I mentioned in the other video that I dropped, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, 4 minutes-ish. One thing that I mentioned in the other video that I dropped about Zenless Zone Zero and HSR, which I think is what made a lot of people frustrated, is the fact that, again, Hoyo, it was this video if you guys want to go watch it, self-advertise my own channel. Which one was it? The truth about Hoyo versus lazy storytelling. Like they continuously just improve upon a little bit of each subsequent game and never go back to fix the old one. and they heard this TV feedback, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think they tried to really fix it. At first, I think they wanted to launch the game and say, fuck you, it's a Hoyoverse game, so you're going to shut the fuck up and eat shit. This is just me maybe being a little cynical, but I think they really saw that it was doing not well, and they're like, all right, we got to fucking change this, you know? So I feel like ZZZ really showed them, like, you can't just constantly feed people dog shit, right? You have to give in a little bit and give something. So yeah, we went back today to finish. What are you talking about, Shine?
Wuthering Waves on launch, it still had some huge underlying issues. Firstly, it had the TV puzzle system. Everybody loves that system,
Sean, it was horrible.
Right? But it was widely hated by players, even in previous betas, and replaced a large chunk of the gameplay. Also, the average age of players was probably too young to even know what the hell a CRT TV is. So unless they play Smash Bros. Melee, they probably weren't
100% oversized.
What they were even looking at. This system was so polarizing that they even
Jenazad 1v1 me Marth, Wave Dash only Final Destination, sidebar. Melee, by the way. Of course, Melee.
Stated on Twitter they would remove it, only to then retract the statement shortly after due to backlash. Secondly, some of the gameplay decisions made no sense, such as every character sharing the same ultimate bar.
Gotcha.
You would only ever use the strongest character's ult and never even see the other team members, which anyone who played for an hour could honestly tell you.
See, Nakata, I have to drop the video. I made a video about this, and then I tried to export and it got corrupted. I don't think ZZZ's power creep is that bad, man. I think it's okay to be skeptical, but I think Miyabi is the exception to the rule. I don't foresee every single DPS doing what Miyabi does. I think Miyabi literally existed to get people back into the game. She's an emanator, and realistically, she can only be used in, like, obviously, she could be used in all the content, but in Deadly Assault, she's only used in one side. There's two other sides completely. In Tower, you still need to swap around, right? In their version of the Abyss, you still have to have another team. So while I 1000% get it, the frustrations of Miyabi and like, well, why even pull for someone else? Like, fuck Ellen. Like, I feel stupid. Like, I 1000% get it. I don't think it's that bad. I also don't think that will be the norm. I could be proven wrong. Let's see what this new Pyro character does. But I just don't think that is the norm. You know what I'm saying? Could be ladder power creep, whatever new uses Miyabi's power. Yeah, something like that as well. But I don't even think that's going to be the case, Shine. I don't even think they're going to make it that every new character's on Miyabi's level. I simply just think this was a one-time thing to let people have fun and just feel super overpowered, you know? Might be enemies in the future. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Blueprint DPS for sure might become the problem. Let's hope it won't. Yeah, I don't think it will be. We'll see.
You're going to ult with your strongest member, right? Also, they didn't really have any endgame to play, so there wasn't much point in getting that much stronger. And with no world to explore, you kind of ran out of content really quickly. Now, since the start, they've improved the game in tons of quality of life ways, even allowing you to run around as an 8-foot-tall furry if you're really into that. They've also added way more games to the arcade and are slowly fleshing out some more. They added multiple endgame modes to play, including an infinite tower to challenge, finally
which is
making
great.
a big budget gacha have more difficult replayable content. They also made Miyabi, who is easily the most fun character in the game at the moment, while also power creeping everything previous. Imagine playing LNJ in 2025.
Am I the only one who thinks Tower is like the best endgame mode right now? Like I think Tower is easily the best endgame mode currently in all of these. With good step, you would most likely take back up what you said in 1.6. I guess we'll see what happens, right? It is what it is. But I think Tower is by far, like, I think ZZZ has the best endgame. I really do. I don't think there's another game that has, like, ZZZ has the roguelike, right? They have Tower. They have Deadly Assault. They have their version of the Abyss. I think they just got a new Tower as well. Like, ZZZ's fucking cooking. They're absolutely cooking. So realistically, this should probably be the most popular game, like with the hardcores, right? But yeah, I think they have the best one. Without Caesar, I think it's not great. Really? I'm talking about the ZZ Power Group? Yeah, we'll see what happens, Step. We'll see what the deal is, We'll see.
Making a skin and a story for this sorry-ass shark girl, just so you don't forget she exists. Now, you might disagree. You might say the games weren't released early. However, when you compare the 1.0 launches to what they are now, it's night and day. Not only in content, but also in quality of life, core game fixes, and player satisfaction. Most gacha games do not improve.
I want to really hone in on this point right here. Player satisfaction. I think this is the first time Hoyoverse is actually understanding player satisfaction and how to deliver it. I think Kuro Games has that shit on lock. They know what the deal is. But it's nice to see a Hoyo game actually provide player satisfaction, right? Not that you don't have satisfaction, because obviously player satisfaction could be subjective, but I think objectively, right? They are consistently making changes and listening and increasing the game and making things better, where it's like, it's hard to fucking complain. Like, if your complaint is that if the only complaint about ZZZ right now is that, like, Miyabi is, like, too strong, I feel like they're in a pretty good spot, So, yeah.
Satisfaction. Most
100% Nikado, without doubt,
not improve to this degree in such a short span. In fact, it is such a stark contrast that I don't even see the two communities fighting anymore, because they're actually enjoying their games rather than projecting their dissatisfaction.
This was made 6 days ago. Wow, yeah. Okay, that aged a little poorly. I think it's all good now. I think it's calmed down. I think everything's fine. I don't think there's any more fucking war, right? I think we're good. But it's just so funny, the timing of him saying this and then everything else. That aged like milk, like, that's so crazy. Honestly, Jenazad's probably the reason it happened. It's unfortunate. Dude foretold the future. Like, he knew it was happening, but he didn't want to let y'all know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Another community. Have you ever noticed that when there's no content or anything new in a game, the community starts to get into all sorts of drama and unrest?
Fake news.
Obviously, content creators want to make content on that kind of stuff, but also just way more negativity and animosity between players as well. Suddenly, the two games have had the drama well dry up because they actually elevated the levels of their games so players can stop bitching. Now all the drama's in Honkai Star Rail where it belongs.
Oh!
Okay, listen. Your words, not mine.
Now, there is one thing I would like to note for anyone watching. I actually don't enjoy Zenless or play it anymore. However, that doesn't diminish my respect for developers that actually improve their games to please the players. Did they listen and overhaul so much for money and player numbers? Probably, since it never happened in Genshin or Honkai to this degree. However, that doesn't mean the developers aren't also passionate about the game. I don't have to like the game to acknowledge when it does something right. If more
Wait, hold on. I want to read these two comments real quick, but I think Jenazad, this is why Jenazad is like the fucking man, because he's just objectively speaking about, I mean, he's been very outspoken about how he doesn't really like Hoyo games and shit. And the fact that he could sit down and make a video like this, I think, is very, very telling. So absolutely shout out to him. My complaints about ZZ are fundamental things like the developers have made that they can or won't go back on, like comic strips instead of cutscenes. The comic strips are really good. That's just honestly kind of a preference. Art style looks like TMNT. That's a preference. No open world. It's not open world. Giving Nicole a breast reduction right before release. Murder. That's all. There's nothing wrong with your complaints. I think your complaints are valid. Like, there's no reason to, like, I'm not gonna shit on your complaints. I don't fucking care. It's your preference, right? But that's unfortunately not the market. That's not what they're doing. And their storytelling is actually really good. I really like the comic book stuff. But to be honest, the players isn't that blame, as both community was actually chilling, like Jane Doe and Lumi Arties, but then a certain neutral guy broke that. Guys, listen, guys, you got to be honest. We need it, and we could talk about this after, more in depth, because this isn't the point of the video. Pokey 1000% instigated and was being a hypocrite. But he is also not the sole reason why gacha tribalism is occurring and war is happening. He is 1000% instigating. And there's a big portion of it. But let's also not pretend like the community is not filled with a bunch of psychopaths. Like, let's calm it down. Like, you guys in chat aren't. Because obviously I'm the greatest of all time. My chat's the greatest. But yeah, no, like we also have to be objective about that. Like, whether you like Pokey or not, you have to be honest.
More developers did this, then the competition would also have to, essentially creating an arms race of better games, bigger patches, and more improvements, otherwise they'd fail. Too many successful games sit on their ass and improve nothing, even when they have the ability to. Just look at Fate Grand Order. The game is garbage and never improves, but still makes so much money just because there was an early game with a huge IP behind it. And look at how many non-gacha games got destroyed by tiny developed indie games last year.
And the game award goes to Cilantro.
Baltero.
Competition breeds excellence. For us, the players, this is literally a win-win. When players begin to spend and play less, it sends alarm bells to the company to begin change immediately, which let them push out such good updates sooner rather than in 2.0. Also, I just enjoy seeing people genuinely having fun and enjoying their game rather than pretending to like every little thing as though the game's amazing constantly when they give you one pull or some crap. Finally, there's one huge thing that we've all learned together. If players quit or stop spending money, the company actually begins to
listen. Really?
Maybe if we all shake hands and agree to quit our favorite gacha games for a month, they'll release the best patch of all time. You in? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a bunch for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I hope to see you next time.
Dude, Jenazad is such a good fucking dude, man. Shout out to him. I had a good time talking to him on the podcast. He's a good guy. This video cooked, man. This is the most neutral video and most tame fucking gacha video, in the sense, not tame in the sense of like they're not taking risk or anything, but like he's just straight up saying what's actually occurring. Like, guys, Zenless Zone Zero had to change. They had to pivot because of the fact that the game was fucking trash at the beginning and they wanted to feed you shit and people didn't take it. What had to pivot because that shit was ass, you know? So yeah, W Jenna, W based. Everyone go follow him. Everyone go watch his video. YouTube, I love you. I'll see you in the next one.